Yo! Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about CLB, Certified Lover Boy, and Donda. Now, ever since both these albums have been released by Kanye West and Drake respectively, there has been an ongoing debate on whether which is the better album of the two. And who better else to review these two albums than me? So let's get into it. First off, we have the cover art. Now, I saw a comment from, I believe, Anthony Fantano's video concerning about both the cover arts, and it said something along the lines, how does CLB have a worse album cover than an album cover that is just a black rectangle? Now, I cannot lie, that comment is I completely agree with that comment, because I don't know what the heck is that album cover from Certified Lover Boy. That album cover looks horrendous. It doesn't just make any sense. Now, if you obviously go more deeper into Donda's album cover, it's obviously a tribute to Kanye's mother, and obviously if you go more deep into it, the black color kind of represents the funeral or the tribute or the mourn of Donda West, which obviously is Kanye's mother. But if we just look at from its plain view, I have to agree that Donda's album cover is just a way better album cover than that horrific CLB album cover.
Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap!
I can't lie. Now, onto the music. Here's my problem with Drake. My problem is that Drake's music, his type of music, should never be more than 4 minutes long. Now, don't get me wrong, I love some of Drake's music, but the type of music he makes should never be more than 4 minutes long, because most of the time when it goes over 4 minutes, the track feels stale. It is very repetitive, and there are really no sudden changes happening.
I'm too sexy for this too sexy for your girl, too sexy for this world.
In the music to keep the listener engaged or be more attentive with his music. I mean, sometimes listening to some of the tracks in Certified Lover Boy makes me want to drill my own ear hole because of how repetitive it is and how boring it is at sometimes. While on the other hand, we know how good Kanye's artistry and his ability to produce, experimental tracks is something I think Drake will never be able to reach unless he does something drastically with his music, which I highly doubt. And you can clearly see in CLB, Drake tried to add some more artistry into some of his songs with the use of his use of vocal samplings and spoken words, similarly to what Kanye West did in his album. But the thing is, Kanye has a purpose behind all the samples that he uses, while Drake, they just kind of add no value to it, to each track, because Kanye used some of the spoken words from his mom, Donda West, which obviously the album is a tribute to her, so it kind of makes sense on why he included his mom's spoken word in some of his tracks, while some of the spoken words in Drake's album just doesn't make any sense, and they're just added in random places and just made it really confusing to me. Now, albeit you can clearly hear that Donda, the album, was pretty much an unpolished album. However, I feel like the album still had more redeeming qualities than CLB, and that's the funny part. All of us can clearly tell that Donda is an unpolished album, while a lot of people can claim that CLB is a polished album, even though Donda, I think Donda is a way more better album than CLB, and that's just the standard that we expect from both of these artists. We have a higher standard when it comes to Kanye in comparison to Drake, and that's the type of standard we have for Kanye West. Even though this album is way better than CLB, we expect more from Kanye, and that's the type of standard that Kanye gives when he ever makes music.
Fuck no, baby!
Now, if we go into the collab part of it, we know that both these artists had pretty big collabs in their own respective albums. We know the likes of Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Future, Roddy Ricch, The Weeknd, the list goes on and on really. But I think what separates from both these collabs, I feel like Kanye West utilizes his feature way better than Drake did. I feel like most of the features that were present in the Donda album sounded way better than the features in CLB's album. And I think overall it's pretty clear that Kanye's collabs are more superior than Drake's collab, and I think that's not a debate at all. Now moving on to the questionable lyrics. Obviously the one of the most questionable lyrics from the two albums is, I mean, it's pretty much a meme at this point. It's the one, "Said you a lesbian, girl, me too," from Girls Want Girls. Now I don't know what Drake was on. He must be sniffing that good or whatever, but or maybe he was just tired and didn't know what to say, so he just said that. But that doesn't even make any sense. I don't know what to say about that, you know. It's just a horrible lyric. I mean, and another one from Drake's album, he said, "I'm on your ass like back pockets." Sure, I guess, yeah. I mean, well, like, what is that writing? I know, like, Drake is not supposed to be, you know, one of the best lyricists, but come on, that's not even like that's not even a good, there's nothing to it. It's just bland. Now, obviously, it wouldn't be fair if I slew some of, you know, Kanye's lyric. In Junya, I don't know what Kanye was on, but he probably was influenced by Playboi Carti or whatever, or he was sniffing that good by Playboi Carti, because he said, ".45 gunner, in pajamas, they piranhas." Now, I don't know what Kanye was on, if he was high when recording his lyrics, but boy, that doesn't make any sense. If it does to you, please leave it in the comments, because I don't understand what he means. Now, this last lyric was actually not by Kanye or by Drake. It's actually from Jay-Z in the track Jail. He said, "Made in the image of God, that's a selfie." Now, I don't want to slew Jay-Z because, you know, he's one of the greatest rappers of all time, but even for Jay-Z standards, like that's pretty corny.
You serious?
Like, that's not that good. Now, you can talk to me and say, well, what about you? You don't even write any good lyrics. But the thing is, I'm not Jay-Z. I can't even put a song together. While this is Jay-Z we're talking about, you know, one of the greatest rappers of all time, and he comes up with that corny lyric. But I mean, to be fair, Jay-Z didn't do that well in both of the features that he was on in both CLB and Donda, if I'm being honest.
I am disgusted.
Even though I like Jay-Z a lot, you know, he's a great lyricist, but that lyric is not it for me. And lastly, I found it also very funny how both of them referenced Giannis in their album, especially with him playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, you know, that kind of wordplay. Now, I don't know if this is a coincidence or maybe this is a situation of where great minds think alike. Or maybe it's just because Giannis just won the NBA championship and now everybody's just name dropping him like it's nothing. But you know, I found that very very funny and interesting. Now, moving on to the standout tracks from CLB. I know, right? Even though I slew Drake a lot, I actually found that, you know, I found some tracks that were actually, I think, pretty decent from his album. The first one, Yeba's Breakheart. I love that track. Another one, You Only Live Twice. I think, you know, that track sounded way more fresh, you know, way more new in comparison to the other tracks on the album. Fair Trade, I think both Drake and Travis Scott did a great job on that track. And Fountains is the last track. Now, moving on to the boring tracks from CLB, we have Way Too Sexy. I mean, come on, that song's, I don't know what that song was. Love All, Girls Want Girls, and I Miss You Too. Now, I don't want to slew Kid Cudi because, you know, I think Kid Cudi is also another great artist, but I think his feature was horrible on that track. You know, I think he didn't do a really good job on that. Now, moving on to the standout tracks from Donda, there's actually a lot. So the first one is Believe What I Say. I think that's probably up there with my favorite tracks, along with Hurricane. And the other tracks I think were pretty decent were Come to Life, New Again, Pure Souls, Keep My Spirit Alive, Moon, and and No Child Left Behind. And in terms of the boring tracks, I would say Television. I don't know if what was going on with that track. I don't know if it was intentional or whatever, but the audio recording of that didn't sound great. Again, I'm not sure if that was intentional or it was just a mess up in the audio or the production side of it, but even though if it was intentional, I don't think it sounded that great or sounded really interesting. And the other boring track I would say was Junya, the first one, not the second one. I think the second one had more redeeming qualities, especially when Ty Dolla $ign came in. I think he adds some, you know, some more energy towards it than the first part. And yeah, that's my review basically of both of these tracks. In terms of the ratings, I would give Donda like a 7 out of 10, and in terms of CLB, 3 out of 10. I think that's fair. And obviously, you know, some people might disagree with me, but I think Donda album is way much better than CLB. Like, you know, like, you can't compare. It's Kanye, man. Kanye is always gonna do well when it comes to albums. He always knows how to make an album. Drake can make singles, don't get me wrong, you know, but in terms of making albums, Drake is not as good as Kanye. So yeah, that's basically my review of both these albums. If you have any comments that you disagree or agree with me, you know, put in the comments below. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.